Hey guys, it's Miss Juicy Review, and right now this is breaking news. Uh, well, as you see, I don't know if anybody's watching or even updated on what's going on. Uh, they have breached the Capitol. Hey everyone tuning in. Hey Mr. B. Hey Sunday. Hey Jerry. Right now Biden is talking, so we're just gonna go into that really fast, and I want to hear what y'all have to say because I'm watching it while I was doing some other stuff. This is crazy. This is crazy. I have never seen. Like they said, we in the last days. This is ridiculous. Let me just go to it, y'all. We're gonna, and as everything is live, we will be watching. And hold on, let me turn it up. Damn it. Hold on.
To affirm, the purpose is to affirm the majesty of American democracy. But today's reminder, a painful one, that democracy is fragile, and to preserve it requires people of goodwill, leaders with the courage to stand up, who are devoted not to the pursuit of power, or the personal interest pursuits of their own selfish interest at any cost, but of the common good. Think what our children watching television is thinking. Think what the rest of the world is looking at. For nearly 2.5 centuries, we, the people, in search of a more perfect union, have kept our eyes on that common good. America is so much better than what we've seen today. Watching the scenes from the Capitol, I was reminded, as I prepared other speeches in the past, I was reminded of the words of Abraham Lincoln in his annual message to Congress, whose work has today been interrupted by chaos. Here's what Lincoln said. He said, "We shall nobly save or merely lose the last best hope on earth." Went on to say, "The way is plain, peaceful, generous, just. A way which, if followed, the world will forever applaud and God must forever bless." The way is plain here too. That's who we are. It's the way of democracy, of respect, of decency, of honor, and commitment as patriots to this nation. Notwithstanding what I saw today and we're seeing today, I remain optimistic about the incredible opportunities. There's never been anything we can't do when we do it together. And this god-awful display today is bringing home to every Republican and Democrat and Independent in the nation that we must step up. This is the United States of America. There's never, ever, 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 ever been a thing we've tried to do that we've done it together. We've not been able to do it. So, President Trump, step up. May God bless America. May God protect our troops and all those folks at the Capitol who are trying to preserve order. Thank you, and I'm sorry to have kept you waiting.
What you've seen today.
Are you concerned about your inauguration, sir? Sir, have you spoken to McConnell today? Are you concerned about your inauguration, sir? Are you concerned about violence?
I am not concerned about my safety, security, or the inauguration. I am not concerned. The American people are going to stand up. Stand up now. Enough is enough is enough.
You shooketh. I'm shooketh. We are only 6 days in to the new year. 6 days into the new year. And if you don't remember, what did he say? Stand by. Stand by. Stand by. I don't know. I don't know. I don't even know what to say at this point, to be honest.
Ossoff, the Democrat, will win the Senate runoff in the state of Georgia, and that leads to the projection.
Either National Guard, state patrols, state police, for some evidence
This
that they
is
are showing
crazy,
up
y'all.
to reinforce the Capitol Police, where they were clearly under-prepared, under-secured, were not ready for the show of force on the part of these protesters who came in force in large numbers, determined to breach the Capitol, to breach the perimeter, to go in, to knock down the doors, to break windows, to break glass, to get inside, to go into the Senate chamber, into the House chamber. Here we have, this is a quick look at the House chamber. We were told that protesters were inside. They were also told that House members are trying to find different places to stay safe in the Capitol building. Lisa Desjardins has reported for us that the members of the Senate were in one location. We don't know what that location is, but we were told they were staying safe, being kept safe in one location. But we're trying to follow sources of information from many different directions. We've just listened to Joe Biden calling on President Trump to go before the American people, to go on national television, to urge his supporters to leave the Capitol, to pull back. And Biden himself called on these protesters to leave the Capitol. He said, and I'm quoting here, he said, what they are doing borders on sedition. He called it disorder, even chaos. He said they do not represent who we are as American people. They are a small number of extremists. And he went on to call them, he said, I call on this mob to pull back. And he described the words of the president, clearly holding President Trump responsible for what has happened today at the Capitol. These are live pictures you're looking at from the Capitol grounds. We know that tear gas was deployed a little earlier, maybe 15, 20, 30 minutes ago, in an effort to disperse the crowd, but a number of them are still there as dark descends on the capital city. We know that it's about 30 some degrees with some pretty strong winds today. It's not a pleasant day to be outdoors, but this is a determined group. I just want to share some news on the Georgia Senate race. A number of news organizations, not the Associated Press, which is what the NewsHour, we are allied with the Associated Press in their call, but other news organizations are saying that Jon Ossoff, they're declaring him the winner in Georgia, but we are not ready. We're waiting to see what the Associated Press does. Yamiche Alcindor has been at the White House for us all day following events there. Yamiche, what are you learning?
What I'm learning is that there are reports that President Trump may be releasing at some point a taped statement. This comes after both Democrats and Republicans, and now Vice President-elect Joe Biden, have called on him to come to a camera to call off these protesters who have broken into the Capitol. We heard President-elect Biden say something that so far President Trump himself has not said, and that is telling these protesters to go home, saying that this is not protest, it looks like insurrection.
He also said that this is not democracy and that the president needs to, quote, step up. So this is the president responding to that in some ways. There are a lot of critics of the president who say this is all because of the president and his rhetoric, his continuing to beat the drum of disinformation. So what we see is President-elect Biden saying, in this moment, President Trump, you need to step up and be presidential. We'll wait to see what the president says in that taped video address, because the president has in the past, in these video addresses, continued to talk about disinformation, continue to talk about debunked claims. He's used these taped videos to try to really just continue to spread things that are simply not true, and to not take really hard questions from reporters in this moment where the nation is looking for a leader to say something about what's going on.
And we know, Yamisha, as you're reporting, the president has apparently taped a message that is going to be released shortly. We will, of course, share that as soon as we see it. I'm told, okay, maybe this is it. It's a 2-minute statement. It's on Twitter. It was just released as of about 2 minutes ago. As soon as we can share that with you, we will. I'm told he is calling for calm. He's calling for calm.
I know your pain. I know you're hurt. We had an election.
He goes on. Let's see. Maybe we have the statement here. I hear the president's voice, so maybe someone has the statement. I can see it on Twitter, but I'm not able to share it with you. I'm told the president says the election was stolen. He continues to insist the election was stolen, but he is calling for calm. So it remains to be seen whether this short statement by the president will have the desired effect of getting people to leave the Capitol, because the president clings to this completely unfounded and baseless belief that the election was stolen from him and that he actually won. He's said on several occasions he won by millions of votes or hundreds of thousands of votes in a number of states, which is not true. But as soon as we can get the president's statement, we will share that with you. The picture I'm looking at of the president, he's standing, it looks like in the Rose Garden, in front of the Rose Garden. It's a picture that is shot with him standing there, and I could show it to you on my smartphone, but it's probably not the best way to share video. But in essence, the president is now speaking out to these protesters at the Capitol, asking them to leave, but still saying that the election was stolen from him, that it was illegitimate. Another piece of news, the Associated Press has now joined other news organizations in saying that Jon Ossoff, the 33-year-old business entrepreneur, is the winner in the Senate race in Georgia. That's the second race that was in a runoff. He was running against David Perdue, who had served for one term Republican. Jon Ossoff has defeated David Perdue by a margin, I believe, of 0.6%, which is above the 0.5% under which the candidates, voters can ask for an automatic recount. So that appears to be outside the 0.5%, 0.5% margin that would trigger or set off an automatic recount. So that is a big win for the Democrats. For the Democrats to have won now two, not one, but two Senate seats in the state of Georgia is simply stunning. Another piece of stunning news on this already very news crammed day that we're all living through and watching. The other race, of course, won by the Reverend Raphael Warnock, who was challenging the incumbent Republican Kelly Loeffler, who had been appointed to that seat just a year ago by the Republican governor, Brian Kemp, after the former Senator Johnny Isakson stepped down because of illness. Governor Kemp appointed Kelly Loeffler, a Republican, in the belief that
One minute, y'all. I don't know if my Wi-Fi is messing up. Oh my goodness. This is crazy. Now let this have been us.
You're on the wrong side. You're on the wrong side. You're on the wrong side.
Look at this. We were peaceful protesting, and we had, that's crazy. This is America.
It's embarrassing.
Trump is talking. Hold on. Hold on.
There comes a time when our elections are over and we have to carry out our constitutional duty. And you know, that's the moment that we have arrived at now. We're going to
look at this. This is crazy. We couldn't even get in the Capitol.
Like all of us are looking at these images. I mean, the one we have on right now, somebody sitting in the chair of where the Senate president presides over the United States Senate. And here's some protester sitting there. Now we've got another shot of some protester sitting in an office with his feet up, literally with his feet up. This is the United States Capitol.
That's
this is
some
sacred
cocky
ground
shit.
in our democracy. What goes through your mind when you see these images?
They taking pictures inside of the Capitol.
It is
nobody got popped. Nobody got shot. Nobody got sprayed. Nobody got.
It will not stand.
This is crazy. We couldn't even go to the Capitol.
Democratic Republic. We have survived for over 240 years, and we have had the peaceful transfer of power. The peaceful transfer of power is something that Ronald Reagan talked about, that in some instances we take for granted, but it is miraculous. And I think that what we've seen today is that it is something that is very fragile, but that we all must stand for it. The president should immediately make clear that this kind of activity, of violent activity at the Capitol, has to stop. And he ought to make clear that, he will abide by the results of the Electoral College vote, and that he will ensure the peaceful transition of power.
Are you, and there will be plenty of time to analyze this later, but just in the moment, as you sit there, sheltered in place, locked down with fellow members of Congress, are you disturbed that this was able to happen at all? That security was such that a group of protesters turned mob could come in and breach the United States Capitol? It isn't as though this wasn't advertised. I mean, this has been boiling and being planned for days and weeks.
Yes, I mean, it obviously is a terrible day in the history of the Republic, but I think what's important to make clear is that we are strong, we're resilient, and we have bipartisan dedication and commitment to protecting and defending the rule of law and to protecting and upholding our oath to the Constitution.
And Congresswoman, forgive me for interrupting, but the president has tweeted. Now I'm told he didn't. He's about to tweet a video statement. Now, he had been urged by members of the Republican caucus, including senators and members such as yourself, to say something. I think they're telling me we've got this video statement from the president. Can we roll it? Let's go.
I know your pain. I know you're hurt. We had an election that was stolen from us. It was a landslide election, and everyone knows it, especially the other side. But you have to go home now. We have to have peace. We have to have law and order. We have to respect our great people in law and order. We don't want anybody hurt. It's a very tough period of time. There's never been a time like this where such a thing happened, where they could take it away from all of us, from me, from you, from our country. This was a fraudulent election, but we can't play into the hands of these people. We have to have peace. So go home. We love you. You're very special. You've seen what happens. You see the way others are treated that are so bad and so evil. I know how you feel. But go home and go home in peace.
Well, that was the statement from the president released via Twitter. Congressman Cheney, I think you're still with me. I mean, here you are. You're on lockdown. Was that good enough for you? He's telling folks this was stolen from you. This was awful, but go home now. Do you think that was the kind of statement that will get the job done?
Look, the president of the United States should have before now
made clear that he wasn't going to countenance any kind of attack or violent activity like this. And, it is good that he has asked people to go home, but what has happened today is unprecedented in American history. And when you have violent mobs storming the floor of the House of Representatives and the floor of the United States Senate, and the president's response is to say that he loves those people, it is absolutely counter to the Constitution and counter to the peaceful transition of power and the values on which this republic was built. We have oaths that we have taken to the Constitution, and we got to uphold those oaths. And
and Congresswoman, I mean, even more than that, I mean, yes, I hear what you're saying, but is it going to get the job done? In other words, is he talking out of both sides of his mouth? He's saying, go home, but you were robbed. You have every right to be angry. This was a fraud. This was stolen. I mean, he's doing two things at once. And the goal here, I think, of the statement, I think what those of you in lockdown right now who would like to get about your business and go on with your day, there's one goal, which is get this thing under control and get the mob out of there.
Look, there's no question about that, Savannah. No, we have very deep and clear political differences in this country, but we don't resolve those differences by mob violence. And it doesn't matter what side of those issues you stand on. The President of the United States statement now, in my view, was completely inadequate. What he has done and what he has caused here is something that we've never seen before in our history. It's been 245 years. And no president has ever failed to concede or agree to leave office after the Electoral College has voted. And I think what we are seeing today is a result of that, a result of convincing people that somehow Congress was going to overturn the results of this election, a result of suggesting that he wouldn't leave office. Those are very, very dangerous things. And he will be remembered. This will be part of his legacy, and it is a dangerous moment for the country.
Congresswoman Liz Cheney of Wyoming, stay safe, keep us posted, and thank you for your time. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, Stan. I appreciate it.
4:30 on the East Coast here as we watch what's unfolding at the Capitol. Lester, I'll send it to you.
Yeah, Savannah, I want to bring in Andrea Mitchell right now. Andrea, your thoughts on what we heard in that video tweet from the president? As is often the case with him, he doesn't retreat. Did he pour water or gasoline on this fire?
I think he poured gasoline on this fire, a fire that he himself set. His former communications director hours ago, Alyssa Farah, tweeted, "You need to condemn this." That was hardly a condemnation. He said, "I love you." He again said that the election was stolen, that it was fraudulent. He repeated all of these lies, and then he says, "I love you," and go home peacefully. That's hardly going to get these people. That's not a condemnation. It's not going to get them out of a building that they barged into. They are an unruly mob. Weapons have been found. At least 1 or 2 shots were fired. People have been injured. They've stopped the democratic process. Lester, I worked up there for years. I know those corridors in that building and love that institution, the House and the Senate, as flawed as it is, as gridlocked as it has been, as much as we criticize it. But for the process of democracy, of counting the electoral votes to be stopped in its tracks, and for people to be hiding under their desks and grabbing their gas masks on the floor of the House and in the Senate, and for the people, for the vice president and the people in succession, for continuity of government to be taken by Secret Service and Capitol Police out and put in secure locations for their safety is simply shocking. I am as shocked as any other citizen who loves our country and loves democracy, and especially someone who knows the people up there and has worked with them and our own colleagues up there. I just want to say the irony. Here's a statement from the Speaker of the Grand National Assembly of Turkey, a government that is, just run by a dictator where people are jailed, journalists and people who are democratic protesters. "We follow the events in the USA with concern and invite the parties to calmness," the Speaker writes on Twitter. "We believe that problems will always be solved within law and democracy. As Turkey, we have always been in favor of the law and democracy, and we recommend it to everyone." This is just a continuation of a government run by this president, his Secretary of State, who have embraced dictators ignored human rights, ignored the jailings of protesters, women, and others who've been tortured in jail in Saudi Arabia. And now we see mob rule in the capital of the United States. It is beyond shocking.
Andrea Mitchell. Andrea, thanks very much. We are about 90 minutes from the curfew that will go into effect at 6 p.m. Eastern time in Washington, D.C. The light already beginning to fade there as there seems to be no break in where we are in terms of what we've been seeing on the front sides of the Capitol. No movement for people to leave or to remove them. And at the same time, there is still business for this Congress to do, to exercise and fulfill its duty to count the electoral vote and essentially confirm this election. I am going to begin preparing for NBC Nightly News. Will be going on the air in a few hours. I'll leave it in the capable hands of Savannah Guthrie, but our NBC News coverage will continue. Savannah, we'll send it to you, and we'll see you in a bit later.
All right, we'll see you on Nightly, Lester. A couple of developments. The FBI SWAT team has now entered the Capitol complex, and our reporter on the Hill, Leanne Caldwell, has tweeted some video of that. So there seems to be some movement on the part of law enforcement to start to get this thing under control. Lester mentioned the 6 o'clock curfew. So while we're talking about law enforcement, let me get to Pete Williams. Pete, bring us up to date, because the governor of Virginia said that requests had come in for the National Guard of Virginia to come in and help. We know the FBI is on the scene. What do you know about what law enforcement is there, what's being brought to bear, and what the plan is here? Because it does seem like we've been in this state of suspended animation where members of the House and Senate are in lockdown, but yet this situation is definitely not under control.
Right. So the Senate and House members are safe and secure. Our understanding is the president of the Senate, is still actually in the Capitol complex because it wasn't considered safe to get him out of there yet. So they're all hunkered down in secure locations. As more law enforcement agencies start to come in now, obviously job one will be to get the place emptied out, get everybody out of there. And then job two will be to start looking through the building, making sure that everyone's gone, that all places are safe. They'll have to sweep the rooms and make sure that there's nothing left behind. 2 improvised explosive devices were found not in the Capitol, but on the Capitol grounds, like pipe bomb looking devices. They're being disrupted. We don't know whether they're actually working or hoax devices, but they're simply destroying them. So for those reasons, it's going to take a while. And I just talked to a member of the Senate leadership to say, what are you going to do? Are you going to wait until it's safe to go back into the House chamber? That could be 24 hours. And the answer was, and this is being discussed right now on the leadership of both sides, my understanding is, the sentiment up there right now is we're not leaving. We're going to stay here and do our jobs, even if it means doing it from the 2 secure locations. We know what they are, but we're not reporting them for obvious reasons, where the House members and senators are. So there's, at least right now, the feeling up there is let's keep going. Now, the Constitution. Well,
that's interesting. Wait, Pete. So you're saying, I just want to make sure I'm catching that, because that's, I mean, some of these senators are together, presumably enough for a quorum, since these were the senators who were on the floor. You're saying they might want to just keep it going before this is even under control. They're just going to keep going?
Yes, or at least some point soon. In other words, not wait until the Capitol Police get the whole place cleared out, the whole Capitol swept, and declare it safe for the 2 chambers to come, to be in operation again. Because that could take, as I say, 24 to 48 hours, I suppose 24 hours, to get that, get the House and Senate floor ready for people to come back. But the senators right now, because what I asked this member of the leadership is, what are you going to do? You're going to go home and come back tomorrow? And the feeling was, no. We're going to stay right here and resume our work. Now, I started to say there's no requirement in the Constitution for where they do this. It just says that it shall be in the presence of the Senate and the House. So the counting. So it could be anywhere. Now, there is a federal law, the Electoral Count Act, that says that it has to be in the House chamber, but they're, exploring ways around that statutory requirement. It's not in the Constitution. So all I can tell you is that right now there's a feeling of let's not leave. I would describe it as sort of defiance that we will not be cowed by this outrageous intrusion into the Capitol. They're determined to keep going. And the person I was talking to said when this was suggested in this group of senators that are in the secure location, there was applause.
Wow. Well, that's a fascinating reporting from inside. Wouldn't you like to be a fly on the wall to see what's happening? Because in that area, in that secure location, are senators who, of course, are on both sides of this issue of whether the Electoral College vote should have been objected to at all. And here they are all together because of this mob that descended on the Capitol. So, and we've heard that sentiment from some of the members that we've talked to on the phone, Pete, saying, if I have to be here all night, we want to get this done. This is our constitutional duty. We heard Tammy Duckworth, a decorated U.S. veteran who lost her legs in combat, saying, nothing will stop me from performing my constitutional duties. But your reporting is pretty extraordinary, Pete, that they are even considering doing it right where they sit, not waiting for the Capitol to be clear, that they seem quite determined to do so. Stand by there, Pete. Keep us posted. Casey, over to you on the Hill. I know you're plugged in. You're our Capitol Hill correspondent. What are you hearing in terms of the security, but also in terms of what the plan is now for the business of the Congress?
Well, Savannah, I'm hearing a sentiment similar to what Pete was just reporting out here, that what had started off today as chaos, some fear, uncertainty, is moving into resolve. An insistence, Joe Manchin told me to not let these thugs take over, that they are going to return to their work. And there are some logistical questions about that. But remember, there are contingency plans for things like this. I mean, we've never necessarily imagined this exact scenario, but in the wake of September 11th, they had to, of course, evacuate members of Congress. And there are a couple of locations in this complex where potentially, and Savannah, I'm not sure, I can hear you in my ear. Our viewers
sorry, that was me.
Hear you as well.
Casey, I'm sorry, that was me talking to the producer. Sorry, carry on. I apologize.
No, of course. So there's an auditorium in a newly built area of the Capitol complex that is large enough to hold people. And again, I want to be careful how I describe things because we are, of course, worried about the security situation. But there are contingencies for the House and the Senate to operate in rooms that are different from what we traditionally think of as the Senate and the House chambers. So, well, yes, obviously the building itself is of incredible symbolic importance. I think that this feeling that they need to do the work no matter where they are or what the circumstances are is very important. So to them, and they are starting to express that now. So we're also starting to hear more questions about, are the Republicans who helped kick this off by saying they would object to this count still planning on doing that? And it's a little bit hard to get answers because everyone is separated from their bosses. There is so much confusion. But again, it does seem like the plan here is to try to go forward. I know there was a brief discussion about trying to evacuate senators from the location where they are using buses. That plan seems to be on hold for the moment. One of our producers saw microphones going into the secure location where the senators are, as though they may be setting up for something where they would be able to talk to reporters that would involve, because again, remember, this debate is supposed to be public as well, and that is an incredibly important feature of the way our government works. And I think that there is also a desire on the part of members of Congress to be seen carrying out their jobs, to demonstrate to the American people that this is what they need to do. And the other thing, Savannah, that I would just add, we're asking for reaction to the president's video. The problem with the president's video, based on some of the people that I have spoken with, is that he doesn't repudiate the basic reality that Joe Biden won the election. Instead, he gives additional credence to what these protesters are here saying has happened. And while he did say that they should leave the building, he did not in any way condemn the message of the disingenuous false message that has prompted them to show up here in the first place. Yeah. So I think there's some concern among members of Congress that what he did doesn't help the situation, as many of them have been calling for, but instead will potentially make it worse. Savannah.
That exactly, and that was the reaction, the fast reaction of Congresswoman Liz Cheney, that it did, it doesn't go far enough if you, on the one hand, say go home, but at the same time you're pouring fuel on the flames by saying that you were robbed, it was stolen, the election was stolen, and that it was fraudulent. That is not what many Republicans have asked the president to do at this moment of crisis in our country. They've asked him to be clear and unequivocal that it's time for the peaceful transition to a new president, as our Constitution and our democracy requires. Let me get to Ellison Barber. She's our correspondent. She's in Washington. I believe she's outside the Capitol. Yeah. Hi, Ellison. Ellison, what have you been hearing?
Hey, Savannah. Yeah, so we've been watching just in the last little bit here as we've seen police on this opposite side of the Capitol start to use more tear gas on the crowd that is gathered over there. Not tear gas, we believe it. It seems to be some sort of mace or pepper spray that they're using on the crowd there. We have been told that some of those protesters were possibly breaking windows, and that's what led to the use of that pepper spray. You can see right over here, we're starting now to see Capitol Police gathering here. They seem to be huddling, discussing, possibly getting ready for something. But all evening since we saw those barricades first come down as protesters rushed to the front of the Capitol, Capitol Police have largely kind of stood back. They have, we've seen them kind of waiting up on different parts of the steps there as the protesters made their way up closer. You can see people standing on an armored vehicle here holding flags, the American flag upside down, a Trump 2020 flag just underneath it. About 10 minutes ago, we were up closer to those stairs and somebody came on a bullhorn, a protester, saying that President Trump says that we should go home. He wants you to go home. Other people in the crowd pushed back on that person. And he said, I know, I understand you want to be here, but he's saying that we should go home. Another person then got on top of that armored vehicle and started yelling at people through the bullhorn to come back. So for now, it seems like there is still a large group of people here who do not have any plans to leave in the immediate upcoming future. I mean, this group, it is not as big as it was a couple of hours ago, but there are still people on these steps who seem to have no plans to leave anytime soon. People that we have seen come out claiming to have been inside the U.S. Capitol. They are greeted kind of as heroes by the crowd here when they come out and they talk about their experience inside. And we saw some people actually following, kind of tracking closely behind a few police in riot gear, calling them traitors for whatever happened inside the U.S. Capitol and berating them as they made their way across the front here. Savannah?
Ellison Barber, a correspondent on the ground there outside the Capitol. I want to go to a news conference underway now. Muriel Bowser, the mayor of Washington, D.C., who's called the 6 o'clock curfew to the Capitol. So let's listen in.
This afternoon, I announced a citywide curfew for the District of Columbia beginning at 6 p.m. this evening, going until 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. During the curfew, no one is allowed to be outside in public places other than essential workers, which includes credentialed media engaging in essential functions. As you can see from video images, the unlawful behavior inside the United States Capitol building. I continue to urge all Washingtonians to stay home and stay calm. And if you see something, say something. But above all, stay home. The behavior that we are witnessing is shameful, unpatriotic, and above all, it is unlawful. Anyone who has engaged in these activities, continues to engage in these activities, will be held accountable. There will be law and order, and this behavior will not be tolerated. The Metropolitan Police Department has been deployed to assist the United States Capitol Police in restoring order to the Capitol, and our Chief of Police will lead the command to clear the Capitol building and establish a perimeter around the Capitol. I have requested both the Virginia State Police and the Maryland State Police to deploy officers, and they have engaged immediately to deploy officers to the Metropolitan Police Department to help regain control of the United States Capitol. I have also invoked several days ago a standing mutual aid agreement with our surrounding jurisdictions, and I want to thank them for deploying. Those jurisdictions include Arlington County, Montgomery County, Prince George's County, as well well as Baltimore City. We want to thank them for sending their officers in, assisting us with public safety in the district, as well as the response to United States Capitol building. Additionally, I want to acknowledge and thank the New Jersey State Police, who will also be assisting the Metropolitan Police Department. So with that, I want to turn to Chief Conte for a situational update. Secretary of the Army will make comments, and we will take brief questions.
Thank you, Mayor. Good afternoon, and thank you, Mayor Bowser. My name is Robert J. Conte III. I am the Chief of the Police of the Metropolitan Police Department here in Washington, D.C. As you are aware, demonstrators came to our city this morning to exercise their First Amendment rights and were largely concentrated in the area of the National Mall. Following the president's remarks, a large crowd began to march eastbound on Madison Avenue Northwest and Constitution Avenue Northwest. As the demonstrators approached the United States Capitol grounds, there was a noticeable change in their demeanor. They breached the fencing along the U.S. Capitol grounds and confronted police lines surrounding the building. MPD was requested by the United States Capitol Police to provide assistance with crowd management, and due to the violent behavior towards the police officers there and their intent on gaining access to the Capitol, a riot was declared. It was clear that the crowd was intent on causing harm to our officers by deploying chemical irritants on police to force entry into the United States Capitol building. As you are aware, they were able to gain access to the Capitol building, and I can confirm that one civilian was reported to have sustained a gunshot wound inside of the Capitol. Details of the shooting are not immediately available, and the situation remains under investigation. The Metropolitan Police Department will be taking the lead on that investigation. MPD continues to provide personnel resources and assistance on the grounds of the U.S. Capitol and has requested the assistance of law enforcement partners through a previously in place mutual aid agreement. As you heard from the mayor, a 6 p.m. curfew has been put in place tonight and will be in effect until 6 a.m. tomorrow, January 7th. We are advising everyone that is not engaged in essential activity to get off the streets and adhere to the curfew. If you are found to be in violation of the curfew, police will be required to take action. Again, I want to reiterate and make it clear, please abide by the curfew that the mayor has set in place, or people will be subject to arrest. Lastly, I know that many of you are familiar with the Metropolitan Police Department. Understand that there is no better agency in the country to handle First Amendment events. They happen on a regular basis here in our city. However, today's events were not representation of peaceful protests. Today, what we witnessed was unlawful, riotous behavior. And people that come to our city engaged in unlawful behavior will be held accountable. We can take any questions that you may have after the secretary has a chance to speak.
Thank you, Mayor Bowser, Chief Conte. At around 3 o'clock this afternoon, we mobilized the DC National Guard to 100% strength. We'll have 1,100 personnel that are convening to the Armory as we speak to support Metro PD and reestablishing the safety and the confines of the U.S. Capitol. We'll also be working with other federal law enforcement entities that are going to be coming here to the Metropolitan Police Station to add additional support and capability as they continue deliberate planning and looking at how a clearing operation will be conducted. Thank you.
And how does this work? This phone? Okay.
So Evan from Fox 5 is available to receive the question.
Okay.
Evan, did you want to say his name?
Evan?
Yeah, hi, Mayor and Chief Conte. Could you please speak to the confusion surrounding the deployment of the National Guard? We understand that the council put out a statement saying that originally the Department of Defense
We've been listening into a news conference from the mayor of Washington, D.C. and several officials, including the head of the Metropolitan Police Department, and with their plans on how to get this under control. The National Guard in D.C. has been activated, as we just learned. The Metropolitan Police Chief was very clear that what had started as lawful demonstrations quickly escalated as a group of protesters came close to the Capitol. He said that that violent behavior toward police unfolded, including the firing of the irritants, some kind of irritants toward police, which allowed them to breach the fence and the police line. And according to the chief of police, a riot was declared. He said this town is very used to people coming and protesting and exercising their First Amendment rights. This was not that. This was a riot, according to Metropolitan Police. And we're learning a bit more now about the plans to get this under control. It involves National Guard, it involves FBI, it involves the Metropolitan Police Department, it involves the Capitol Police. We've heard word of the Virginia National Guard being called in, or at least requested. We'll see if we start to see some of that personnel. Let me turn to Janet Napolitano for purposes of the discussion here, former Homeland Security Secretary in the Obama administration. And Secretary Napolitano, first of all, just your thoughts. I mean, you aren't near Washington, I don't think, or not in the Capitol, but when you see these images and what has unfolded today, as a former Homeland Security official whose job was to protect the homeland, what do you think?
Oh, it's a dark day for our country. And, you know, when I was Secretary of Homeland Security, we did all kinds of scenario planning for attacks on the homeland. But this is akin to an attack from inside the homeland on the functions of our democracy, on our government. Like I said, it is a dark day.
I mean, when you see that the Senate and the House have to be evacuated, that the session has to be stopped, it is an extraordinary moment. And I, of course, don't want to ask for any inside information, but if you could help us as the former Homeland Security understand, you know, what kind of planning is underway for this kind of situation. Perhaps this couldn't be imagined where American citizens, our own people, would storm the Capitol and put in danger members of the United States Congress and their staffs. But certainly an attack on the Capitol is something you would have had to contemplate in your past job.
Certainly, and there are procedures in place for what's called continuity of government to secure the members of the House and the Senate should there be an attack. These were procedures developed in the wake of the attacks of 9/11, as a matter of fact. You know, it's interesting to me, however, and there'll be after action reports on this up the wazoo, but it was very foreseeable that there was going to be tremendous protest activity in Washington today, incited by the president himself. And one has to question what kind of pre-event planning went on. Certainly the presence of law enforcement now is arriving, and they're absolutely essential, and we absolutely need them. But you know, I'm just comparing it to the way law enforcement handled the event at Lafayette Park last spring, when the president dispersed peaceful protesters to go do his photo op at the church, you know, holding the Bible. It's a pretty stark contrast, and I think it illustrates a lot about the current administration.
What did you think of the president's remarks? Was that sufficient in your mind to quell the violence, to calm it, to call it off, and to try to get this under control?
No. You know, the president lost this election. That result has been confirmed by every court that has considered the dozens of challenges. The electors have been selected. The votes have been certified by the states. By the way, it's the states who run elections, and it's the states who certify electors. The purpose of today's convening of the joint chambers is almost ceremonial in nature. It's to receive those certified votes, to open the envelopes and to count them. That's that's it. It's not a place of objection or allegations of fraud. That's the courts of the United States, and the courts have ruled. So this is over. And what the president should have done is to say that he respects the rule of law, he respects our processes, he respects that on January 20th, Joe Biden will take office as the president of the United States, and these protesters, and I'm almost reluctant to call them protesters, it's really a mob. But they should disperse and go home. And by the way, those who have committed acts of violence, broken windows, etc., they should be identified and prosecuted.
Well, the head of the Metropolitan Police Department in D.C. called them rioters. Secretary Napolitano, thank you for being with us. Yeah, it does seem in the case of those who breached the line and trespassed into the United States Congress, where the public is not allowed. Yeah, that seems an apt description. Thank you, Secretary. I want to say that we've been watching this image on the Capitol grounds, and it does look like some people are being escorted out now by law enforcement. And I want to go to Ellison Barber, who's there. What are you seeing? What's your vantage point?
Hey, Savannah. Yeah, so we saw these police officers in riot gear make their way up the U.S. Capitol steps and started to talk to some of the people that were still there and have gotten them to go down the steps and clear that area with them. There was not a huge group on the steps at the time that the police came up. A lot of people in this area have left, and they say they're heading up to the Supreme Court. But they came out in riot gear and were able to kind of slowly push people back off of the steps now down to this area. And it seems like everyone has left as they were asked to. Right before this happened, we did hear someone go on a bullhorn, we were telling you earlier, and say President Trump has said that people should go home and tell people here that they should go home. Some people disagreed with that and pushed back. But obviously, as the police have come out in their riot gear here, at least on the steps at this part of the U.S. Capitol, the people who were up there have come down now. And I don't know if you can see if we can walk a little this way. We don't want to get too close, but I don't know if you can see some of what's been left on these cars that are over here. People have put up signs as they had this is really the first time this area has kind of been cleared out today, but you can see some of the signs on the cars back there saying things like Pelosi is Satan. People have been standing on top of that car, that armored vehicle in the middle for most of the day. They have now come down though, and it seems like perhaps Capitol Police for the first time in quite a few hours have started to get back control of this area. And for now they're standing up there. Some people you can see standing in front of them with the join or die flag, not leaving entirely, but they have backed them down from up near the front of the door where they had been for so many hours now. Savannah?
Ellison, you said somebody got on a bullhorn and said President Trump said to go home. Was that law enforcement or was that a fellow protester? Who said that? Could you tell?
That was a protester, Savannah. They were actually like kind of in the middle of the stairs, and they came on and they said President Trump posted this. Somebody else said no. He said President Trump said he doesn't want any violence. They yelled, "We're not being violent." Then somebody else, disagreeing with the person telling people to go home, stood up on top of that black armored vehicle and started yelling at people who were leaving to come back, saying that they needed to fight, that they needed to do this to be patriots and to come back. Some people stayed. A lot of people, though, dispersed. But it was interesting to see because they kind of went back and forth within their own group. Some saying, okay, maybe we should go home. Others saying, no, absolutely not. And we do know that a lot of the people who were here, as well as on the other side here on the Capitol, where we did see people getting pepper sprayed pretty frequently in the last hour or so, they have started to leave. And we've been told by other protesters here that they are making their way to the U.S. Supreme Court, which is just across the street here. Savannah.
All right, Allison, thank you so much. Stand by there for us, would you? I want to get to Kenneth Buck, who is Colorado's congressman, a Republican, a Trump supporter. Sir, first of all, how are you? Oh, we can see you. That's good news. How are you doing? Are you safe?
I am safe. My staff is safe. We are hunkered down with another office, and we are safe, anxious, and happy that we can see the TV and see what's going on in the Capitol.
Well, Congressman, if you're in your office, I presume you were not on the House floor when this unfolded. What was your vantage point? What was your view of the events as they unfolded from where you sat?
Yeah, I was on the House floor. I was one of the people set to speak. And so I was sitting on the House floor. First thing I saw was the Capitol Police, plainclothes Capitol Police escorted the speaker from the chair. We continued with the proceedings for a few minutes. The Capitol Police then came on the House floor and announced that the doors had been locked in the chamber and everybody should stay in place. About 10 minutes later, we were told to put on our gas masks, and a few minutes after that, the windows of the doors around the house were being shattered. It was hard to tell whether it was gunfire at first or whether it was just a glass breaking, and it appears now that it was just glass breaking. And a bunch of us got heavy furniture and started barricading the doors to help the Capitol Police. Soon after that, probably about 15 minutes, we were told that they anticipated that the House chambers would be breached and asked us to evacuate. And so we evacuated through the tunnel.
I mean, what you have just described, Congressman, is so extraordinary. You describe it in a very matter-of-fact way, but could you have imagined when you woke up this morning that something like this could have happened? What was going through your mind? Here you are about to perform that sacred duty, addressing the House floor as an elected member of Congress, and then this happens.
Yeah, I anticipated that there would be violence outside the Capitol. I did not anticipate there would be violence inside the Capitol. And I really, peaceful protests, we've seen them for months in this country, and we've also seen terrible violence. And the violence that happened in the Capitol and the people that trespassed and caused damage and caused harm to others should absolutely be prosecuted. And it is incredibly aggravating and disturbing that as a country that believes in free speech and believes in the Republican form of government that we have, that we are forced to tolerate this nonsense. It is absolutely unacceptable.
You heard the president's remarks. What did you think of them?
I was glad that the president instructed his followers to leave, go home, and peacefully disperse. I think that it is time that we anticipate a peaceful transition to the next administration. And I hope all Americans understand that while many of us are frustrated with some of the processes in this election, the results of the election stand, and we need to respect those results.
Congressman, stand with me, but I am showing an image that I believe to be a live picture where we saw some smoke and perhaps flashbang. So there does seem to be some action on the grounds there where you sit, and we'll keep our eye on that. But let's keep talking. You talked about the president. He made the statement. He did tell people to go home. At the same time, he said, "I know your pain. I know you're hurt." He said this election was stolen from us. It's fraudulent. And he called these protesters, some of whom have, as you well know, breached the United States Capitol and forced Congress to evacuate and disband and not be able to perform its duties. He said they were special people and he loved them. So I ask you, I know you're a Republican and a supporter, but I mean, was that enough for you?
I think the Attorney General Barr made a very strong statement. I think there were other strong statements that have been made, and certainly you can look at the president's statement. And I think in totality, he was calling for peace, and he was calling for people to disband. I am frustrated right now where I'm sitting that I can't do more. I pray for these police officers who have put their lives on the line, and I just hope that these protesters and those who are in the building, I would consider them criminals. I hope they go home. I hope they understand that there will be consequences for what they've done.
I mean, do you feel angry? It's a violation. It's here you are, the member of Congress, and the Congress convening to perform this duty that's in the Constitution, age old as our democracy itself. And here come a bunch of folks coming in and putting a stop to it.
Absolutely, I'm angry. This isn't the way that this country operates, and it is a disgrace. And it's a disgrace for anyone to tolerate anybody to come in and try to shut down our government. It is absolutely disgraceful.
Congressman, Oh, sorry. I was just about to wrap you up because I want to get to those live pictures, but I didn't mean to interrupt. Final thought.
Final thought is God bless America. I don't have much else to say.
God bless America, indeed. Sir, thank you. Thank you for your time. We appreciate it. I do want to go to these pictures. This is the west front of the Capitol, and you see the smoke is building and this being a live situation unfolding. I don't have a ton of information about what exactly has transpired, but you see the flash there. Sometimes a flashbang is used by law enforcement to try to disperse a crowd. It's obviously one of the tactics in their tool belt. And it seems we saw the FBI SWAT team come in earlier.
Brian, I think
no question that they are trying to bring this now to an end and say it's enough. Time to try to clear the Capitol and get back to business. Pete Williams, our justice correspondent, who covers law enforcement. Pete, you have a more trained eye for what we're seeing here, and you certainly have sources inside the law enforcement agencies. What do you see?
Yeah, I can't really be sure where the flashbangs were being set off, whether it was there on the portico, I guess you would call.
Okay, I don't know if y'all can hear me. That was a lot. That was a lot. I don't know what this person is saying. Let
me get this shit straight, my nigga. Cops kill us. Cops kill us. And we peacefully protest. And we get shot at. We get locked up. We get beat the fuck up. Tased, maced, whatever the fuck. For peacefully protesting about y'all niggas killing us. But this fat, dusty, crusty ass, soggy ass, stupid orange toupee wearing nigga loses the fucking election. Y'all voted for this goofy nigga. Y'all elected this goofy nigga, knowing damn well that this nigga was not fit for the fucking position. He loses the election. And y'all goofy ass, nasty ass, racist ass, crusty ass, fucking blue vein, disgusting, fucking horrible terrorist white people that support this man break into the Capitol building. And y'all don't get shit. Y'all don't get called terrorists. Y'all don't get maced. Y'all don't get nothing. Y'all niggas just casually walking in there like it's a Pokemon game, and y'all niggas going to get a map from somebody. And y'all don't get shit. Get the fuck out of here, B. Get the fuck out of here, nigga. And y'all niggas act like racism ain't alive. Suck my fucking dick.
Okay, not in the words that I would say, but I get it. Because I know for a fact when BLM was protesting, what did he say? He called them terrorists. He called them terrorists, which is crazy to me. What the hell? Wow. 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 And ironically, all you see Yeah, a woman did get shot. A woman did get shot. A protester, which is ironic that we protest, we are rioters. They protest, they're protesters.
Occupying the center steps and also the south end steps and the north end steps of the east side of the Capitol here. Now you see the police kind of walking them slowly off of the steps. They're doing this now after several hours that these people have been out here.
Really? So I would have been kicking these motherfuckers down them stairs.
Occupying the center steps and also the south end
This
steps
is crazy.
and the north end steps of the east side of the Capitol here. Now you see the police kind of walking them slowly off of the steps.
This is America. I'm not playing that. Mm-mm. Wow. This is crazy. The Fall of Rome from American English painter Thomas Cole, The Course of Empire series. Rome had to wait for a painting. We get it live. Brace up right now, America. Well, I will say Twitter, they have a lot to say. This is crazy. Do y'all see this? Do y'all see this? And I have some family that work in DC, work with the government. When I get off this live, I'm gonna have to reach out to some of them to make sure that they good. Even though I know they good, but just to make sure that they good. I don't want to see no damn Kevin Hart. This is crazy. This is crazy. But these are protesters. Really? What are they protesting? Mm-mm-mm. It was what they had here.
Hurt. We had an election. I know your pain. I know you're hurt. We had an election that was stolen from us. It was a landslide election, and everyone knows it, especially the other side. But you have to go home now. We have to have peace. We have to have law and order. We have to respect our great people in law and order. We don't want anybody hurt. It's a very tough period of time. There's never been a time like this where such a thing happened, where they could take it away from all of us, from me, from you, from our country. This was a fraudulent election, but we can't play into the hands of these people. We have to have peace. So go home. We love you. You're very special. You've seen what happens. You see the way others are treated that are so bad and so evil. I know how you feel. But go home and go home in peace.
Wow. Man, I don't want this to get. I don't want to hear him no more. Wow. 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 Yeah, somebody would have had to get punched in their face. They sound demonic. Wow. Wow. A bunch of pussies. Wow. This is crazy. And if they don't call that terrorism, I don't know what. A bunch of animals. So, all right, come on, man. I was praying for 2021 to get better. But now we have Trump supporters breaking into the White House. The fuck y'all on? They're attacking the news people. This is crazy. Come through, Jamila Hill. Let's be clear about something. The reason Capitol Police were slow to respond is because they gave these white people the benefit of doubt and treated it like a joke. Their reaction is the same because they see Black people as a threat that need to be eliminated. Someone writes, when a group of white right-wing armed protesters show up, police arrive dressed like they're sitting at their desks. When a group of protesters that aren't majority white show up, police arrive in riot gear. Law enforcement dressed for the narrative they wish to create. Then he wrote right here with his Twitter fingers. Let me just make it big so y'all can see. You see the irony in this? And they say, yep, remember how they flexed up for BLM? And that's a fact. You see, they covered their faces. They covered their identification. So if anything they was to do, they can't be penalized for it. But over here, they over there looking like a bunch of runner cops. Man, listen. People be so much in their privilege, it's crazy.
Police are squabbling with protesters. Oh, there we go.
Wow.
And they just breached the Capitol again.
Wow.
Police are squabbling with protesters. Oh, there we go.
Wow.
And they just breached the Capitol again.
Wow. Well, now y'all know how they got in. Now y'all know. Look up white privilege in a dictionary. You should see this. Okay, now. And I have that video as well. The cops are taking selfies with terrorists. This is America. This is America. They play all day. Why you keep asking where the police at? Y'all ask where Molly at when the Hannah on stage? Nope. They open the gates for them. Let me show y'all some pictures. This is fucking crazy. This is crazy. That's an advertisement. I don't want to see them. How I got it is. Okay. Okay. I wanted to show this picture. Yeah, I don't want to go through all of that. Get me out of here. Interesting. Oh, I'm busy going through the pictures and it's not showing. Oh, my bad, y'all. Capitol Police officer try to reason with crowd. You guys just need to go outside. He pleaded with a man in a green backpack. When asked why they weren't expelling the protesters, the officer said, "We just got to let them do their thing now." What? Where's the police when neo-Nazis show up? Where's Peter Parker when Spider-Man appears? This is crazy. Exactly my thoughts. Exactly my thoughts. Like, rioters, DC police. This is ghetto. They climbing walls. That's barbaric. Oh my God. They're speaking facts in these chat too. They're climbing the wall. I ain't reading all of this. I'm just going. I'm not reading all of that. But this is a statement from the Lincoln Project. I'm just going to keep it up for a little bit so you can read it. This is sad.
To stop the rioting and looting, to end the mobilizing.
They said, here's Trump's response to Black Lives Matter protests last June, where he threatened military action and prosecution. Totally different than his response to a pro-Trump mob today. Go home. We love you. You are very special.
All available federal resources, civilian and military, to stop the rioting and looting, to end the destruction and arson, and to protect the rights of law-abiding Americans, including your Second Amendment rights. Therefore, the following measures are going into effect immediately. First, we are ending the riots and lawlessness that has spread throughout our country. We will end it now. Today, I have strongly recommended to every governor to deploy the National Guard in sufficient numbers that we dominate the streets. Mayors and governors must establish an overwhelming law enforcement presence until the violence has been quelled. If the city or state refuses to take the actions that are necessary to defend the life and property of their residents, then I will deploy the United States military and quickly solve the problem for them. I am also taking swift and decisive action to protect our great capital, Washington, D.C. What happened in this city last night was a total disgrace. As we speak, I am dispatching thousands and thousands of heavily armed soldiers, military personnel, and law enforcement officers to stop the rioting, looting, vandalism, assaults, and the wanton destruction of property. We are putting everybody on warning. Our 7 o'clock curfew will be strictly enforced. Those who threaten innocent life and property will be arrested, detained, and prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law.
Someone says, I saw on Facebook that Trump supporters will be rounding up in other states to riot. I'm not sure what states they are rioting in, but please please stay safe out there.
Trying to stop people getting any closer. People have been climbing the fence. You can just see Trump banners as far as the eye can see. We can taste the tear gas in the air. We've already seen a few people that have been tear gassed. Yeah, I mean, people have their eyes are red. They can feel the tear gas. You've had the National Guard deployed at the request of the DC mayor. Let's just show you what's happening here. It's the people trying to breach the Capitol building, and they're trying to get through right now. They're breaching the building. They're actually breaching the building right now. So if you just take a look at what's happening, we're press, and they're trying to get through the police cordon. At the moment, this is the pro-Trump rally right now, and they are breaching the building. There is tear gas in the air. There's tear gas. There's tear gas in the crowds. They breached the security line. I've never seen anything like this. And they managed to get through the police line. The tear gas is in the air. Thank you very much.
When I say this is crazy, this is crazy. Wait, white people are attacking the police, calling them niggers at the nation capital, and not one shot gets fired. Wow. Wow. This definitely is going to go down in history. I swear. The history, let me shut my mouth. Oh, look at this, y'all.
ACAF, 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 ACAF.
And they ringing off. Look at this. This is crazy. Hold on. God damn it. Secret Service was strapped up. This is crazy to me. They're strapped up. Now, I've been watching this from earlier today. I'm gonna put out a pre-recorded video of how everything was going earlier. Hey, Jada. This is crazy, y'all. This looked like the purge. And if I'm not mistaken, is that a fire? This shit look crazy out here. We wouldn't even make it to a wall if it was BLM. We would have got on the block and they would have did us in. Crazy. Twitter is petty. These claims of election fraud is disputed, and this tweet can't be replied to, retweeted, or like. Come through, Twitter. Before breaching the Capitol building, a huge contingent of Proud Boys had massed outside, some chanting "Storm the Capitol" in 1776. Somebody write, you body slam a reporter. Over the next several days, we're going to see a lot of Republican Party members try to pin this entirely on Trump, as if they complicity for 99% of his term had nothing to do with it. They said violence has no place in our civil society. I categorically condemn what's happening in the U.S. Capitol. So they already, they're already putting the blame. So that video that we saw, girl, he gonna have to be strapped up. He gonna have the armor of God, and him and Kamala, they gonna have to make sure that they good at all times. And then you clearly see that there's people on the inside working against them too. Because how is it that the security guards just let them open, like they just let them in? So, equipment of media at AP damaged during clash after the U.S. President Donald Trump supporters breached the U.S. Capitol security in Washington, D.C., United States. Yeah. This is the attempt to overthrow Trump and his radical supporters. The blueprint for obviously comes from the year 1933 and the seizure of power by the Nazis and Hitler in Germany. The result is well known. Nazi regime of violence in the Second World War. Crimes repeat. Baby. I ain't saying nothing. I'm just reading, child. I'm just reading.
Pull them this way.
It might be that, Justin, but we at this point,
we will never give up. We will never concede. It doesn't happen.
At this point, you gotta look at it in the perspective that this doesn't look good for none of us on either side, left, right, or whatever.
A resistance until they have seen a patriot fight for their country.
That's right, guys. That's the message. These guys better fight for Trump. And we're going to have to fight much harder. USA! 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 Antifa! 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 Hey guys, you actually all did something I didn't realize was possible.
This is crazy.
I'm looking at the crowd here and the tens of thousands, probably 100,000 plus people here. And you did it all without burning down buildings? You did it without ripping down churches? Without looting? I didn't know that that was possible.
Move this way.
Oh, damn it. Hold on. Okay, they ain't got to rip down churches or looting. Look what they did. They went straight to the Capitol. Like, what would have happened if they didn't evacuate? That's my question. What would have happened if they didn't evacuate and they actually got in? Because not only that, they got inside of Nancy Pelosi's office. What if she was still in there? She probably would have got hurt. A lot of people would have got hurt. These people are not thinking. They're not using their brains at all. And this is ridiculous because not only that, you are putting people in harm's way. They play all day. Not Star Wars. I'm done. No. I can't. Unseen footage of the Trump supporters moving through the Capitol. Hold on. Damn, I can't. It's not even loud. Damn. Ironically, up watching Tupac interview about how greedy and selfish Trump was there in 1995, and it's still the same story. Reaction from Iowa, 2 U.S. senators, both Republican, regarding a pro-Trump extremist. Okay, let me see what she says. I serve in uniform to defend the right to peaceful protest. What's happening at the Capitol right now is not peaceful nor a protest. It's anarchy and betrayal of American idols we all hold dear. My staff and I are safe thanks to Capitol Police for your selfless work. Then he writes, today's violence attack on U.S. Capitol was an attack on American democracy itself. I condemn today's violence in the strongest term, and perpetrators deserve to be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. I also thank Capitol Police for protecting our Capitol and staff. They wasn't really protecting much of anything.
It's just happening. If they don't make my vote count, if they don't get rid of all the fraudulent votes, you're going to see some stuff that you've never seen before. If they don't stop the steal, which is happening, if they don't make my vote count, if they don't get rid of all the fraudulent votes, you're going to see some stuff that you've never seen before. If they don't,
I hear what he said. I hear what he said. Damn it. If this don't look like the Purge, I don't know what. If it don't look like the Purge, I don't know what. I got some nice champagne in the fridge that I'm going to be sipping, child. I'm going to be sipping. What is this? What is this? And all I gotta say, they are ghetto as hell because they act like they don't got no home training. They climbing on walls, they breaking windows, they doing all type of stuff. I'm sorry. They ghetto. This is crazy, y'all.
How this is going to unfold over the next several hours?
Well, George, I think you know, first of all, that the
all I know is
attacked in the midst of the counting of the electoral votes. Members were engaged in a constitutional duty.
All I know is for the people. What the hell? Oh, sorry, excuse me. Look at that. Look, just look at this. As a kid, learning about the United States government and law, when we had global history. No, it's not global history. It was government something with social studies and something like that as a kid. And they explain how things work. Looking back to now, it's crazy to me. Do y'all see how this looks? Then a few months ago, the White House was completely black. No lights, no nothing. Because we had a president hiding in a bunker. This is crazy. And I know if anyone, your grandparents or elderly in your life, well, you just sit down and talk to them and ask them about what's going on. They'll tell you, like, we ain't never seen nothing like this a day in our life. This is crazy. This looks very purge-like. Very purge-like. And nobody's wearing no mask. No one's wearing no mask. That's scary. That is scary. They didn't even go home. They still out there. I said DC, lots of blood spilled today by both Capitol Police and occupiers. Very serious injuries occurred, including a shooting. Many officers injured. Some appeared to be hurt very badly as Trump supporters are throwing projectiles and some in cases violently assaulting them. What the hell is going on? I'm sorry. Twitter and Facebook for the win. They removing his video. They make it where you can't retweet. You can't. They is smart. They is for the win. Somebody replies to Trump. Well, before I guess it got deleted. Too late. It should have never been allowed up. Or I guess they were applying to Facebook. I don't know. Look at this. This is crazy. You have these old people, you know, these old people, their hearts is probably bad. They probably just thought they was going to work at Congress, mind their business, the old ass business, and look at them. They look scared. This is crazy. 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 This is America. Mm-mm-mm. Let me stop this and show y'all some videos. All I can say, I'm gonna keep saying, y'all, if you get what I'm saying, stay on course, y'all. Pay attention, because it's about to get real ugly. Make sure that you and your family are good. Protect you and yours. That's all I can say. I'm not going to go too deep in it. But if you get what I'm saying without saying, protect you and your family. That's your best bet, is to protect you and your family. Because it's going to get worse before it gets better. And how it's looking, we going to see a lot of stuff to come. Hold on. Let me show y'all something. Whew. I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to say. I don't even know how to make sure that there's some reassurance to everyone that things will get better. Okay, hold on. Okay, let me show y'all something. Can y'all see? Hold on. Okay. These are some of the pictures that this office right here that we're looking at. This is Nancy Pelosi's office. Somebody says in 2020, wow, I hope next year is better. January 2021. This bullshit. This is crazy, y'all. Black people at home watching white people beat up the blue lives that they said mattered. This is crazy. And they all look like they ain't wiped their ass or brushed their teeth. But go off. A Trump supporter just took over the stage and microphone on the floor of Congress and is yelling Trump won the election. Do y'all know how crazy that is? Y'all not understanding the depths of this is crazy. So they said, can you imagine what would have happened if Black Lives Matter activists fought through the U.S. Capitol Police and occupied the U.S. Capitol building in the kind of menacing way? They would have aired them out. They would have aired them out. Do y'all see this right here? They got guns loaded, guns drawn at people. This is America. Then he puts, I'm asking for everyone at the U.S. Capitol to remain peaceful, no violence. Remember, we are the part of law and order. Respect the law and our great man and woman in blue. Thank you. Please support our Capitol Police and law enforcement. They are truly on the side of our country. Stay peaceful. You think so? Watching the police forget how to use force. Do y'all see that? They have homemade nooses. I know I'm going to have to pray after this once I finish this live. Y'all understand. This is why I stay humble. This is why I try to stay prayed up as much as possible. And I pray for everybody and send love and light, because we are in some trying times. I swear we are. We are in some trying times. And as much as we done heard our parents, our grandparents always say, get your life in order because we in our last days, I believe it. Because we have seen so much stuff in the last coming years that make me a believer. So if we was to see the 4 horsemen, trust and believe me, I believe it. Because this right here is too much. And I'm not putting my religion or my spirituality on anybody. I'm just telling you what my beliefs are. As I said, make sure that you and your family are safe. For our brothers and sisters that's in DC, I am sending prayers, love and light y'all way, because we don't know what this night going to entail. They have a curfew for 6 o'clock. These people are still out there. We don't know what's next in the coming days, weeks, or whatever. This is crazy. And like Tamika D. Mallory said, I suggest that Black folks stand back and stand by while these white folks throw tantrums in DC. America needs to face this real problem. Don't go out there. This is not our fight. Malcolm called it chickens coming home to roost. Read between those lines. Look at this young lady. This is a lady you was talking about, Jada, that was downloading files. They are in people private offices. Do you not know? Someone else writes, Lori Daniel Favors, Esquire. She's a lawyer. She writes, Black people, stay out of this. Stay home. This doesn't need counter protest. These folks will kill you and get treated like racist heroes. Stay home. Coop 2020. This is crazy. This is crazy, y'all. I know that a lot of us aren't in. We're all spread out. We're all in different places. But for my encounter with you, you are my distant relative. So I'm going to treat you as such. I pray that everyone, I don't know if you're at work or you're at home or anything, I pray to keep everyone lifted up in prayer and covered in the blood, because we are in some trying times. We don't know what's going to happen in the next days or later on tonight. Please be safe. Please be safe. If you have a game plan for if something pops off, make sure that that stuff is already set. You and your family know what to do and move accordingly. Once again, please be safe. Please be safe, because we don't know what's going on. We are literally 6 days into a new year. When they say a new year, new leaf, it looks like it's getting worse. When you are able to see the monster with the lights on, it gets real scary, okay? People are showing you who they are. They are showing you their faces. Please be safe. I can't say it no better. I came on here. I don't care about no damn celebrity. I don't care about none of that stuff right now. I care about us. Okay? And right now, we need to be uplifting each other and holding each other down, because in the coming days, the night, let's just be real. The night, the coming days, the coming weeks, the coming months, the coming year, it's going to get worse. We thought last year was bad. It was a nightmare. It was a bad roller coaster. It's going to get worse. I pray for the people that's in DC right now, but who knows what's going to happen? It can easily happen out here in New York. It can happen where y'all live at. Anything can happen. So I need y'all to be safe. Be very vigilant. Be very they at the Texas Capitol too, Sheila. See, this is because I'm feeling stuff, and I always go according to that. I'm saying this. I don't want to say too much words because I don't want it to seem like I'm inciting anything. But listen to the words that I'm saying. Make sure you and your family are on stand. Make sure that you and your family have a game plan. Make sure that you and your family are on one accord. Down to the little babies. Make sure that y'all are ready for whatever to come in the passing days. Okay? Because it's scary. We're only 6 days in. Not another year, but 6 days in. And if they already inciting stuff at the where the White House is in DC, can you imagine what else is going to happen in other places? Because I'm going to give you a little something. November 3rd, that was the day I lost my grandmother, right? But not only did I have to have weighing on my mind driving to her while she was in the hospital, was I had to be mindful of being on the road, because there were people who are Trump supporters stopping cars and attacking people. So that was very heavy on my mind, because not only did I have myself in my vehicle, I had my mom, I had my children, and myself. So it was a lot. And as I'm passing, I'm constantly seeing Trump supporters. That's a lot, and that's scary to even to think about. You know, all I'm gonna say is y'all be safe out there. We got an invisible disease that's taking us left and right. We got law enforcement that's taking us left and right. Then we got people who are backing an ideology where they feel that they are entitled to stuff, which they're not. That's taking everybody. So please be careful out there. Please be on one accord with your family. If you know someone in DC or anywhere, reach out to your family members. Ask them, are they okay? Reach out to someone. If you got to go to work tonight, tomorrow morning, please be safe out there. Just please be safe. We might not be related by blood, but we are related with us being from a place. I don't want to go too deep. I don't want to go too deep because I don't want people thinking this my channel is what it is and it's not. But we are related. Every last one of us. Y'all be safe out there. Protect yourself and your family. Protect yourself and your family. That's all I could say. They got a curfew. Rennie, they have a curfew because I'm as I'm talking on live, I have my TV on, and they saying it's a DC curfew now in effect till 6 a.m. I don't know if you have to work overnight, but y'all need to be safe. I'd rather be safe than sorry. I'd rather y'all be safe than sorry. It's a lot going on. Y'all be safe. Y'all be safe. And if you do have to go out or, go to work and stuff like that, let someone know that you're going out. Let someone know where you're going. Because I guarantee this is not the only thing that's going to be happening. And it's just getting crazy. It's just getting crazy. We're going on the second hour. I'm not going to hold none of y'all too long because this is a lot, and I want to actually go and watch the news myself. Wait, why does lady got a bag on her head? Oh, hell no. But please, y'all, be safe out there. If you can't watch the news so you could be abreast on what's going on, like I said, make sure that you and your family are on one accord. Stay on point. Be very vigilant. Because I don't know what's going on. Yeah. Well, that's the end of everything, y'all. I thank everyone that came and tuned in. We was able to have a discussion throughout the chat. For all the new subscribers, I thank every last one of y'all. And for those subscribers that been here already, y'all already know what it is. I love every last one of y'all. I love everybody like cook food. Y'all stay blessed and be safe. Wear your mask. Use your hand sanitizer. Please keep 6 feet apart. And also be safe. Like I said, please be safe. And if anything changed, if any more breaking news, I'll try to come on to keep y'all abreast. And if anybody wants to just, say, hey, drop the link so I can come up and talk and tell how you feeling, I'm more than well, open to have that for y'all, because, we need to be able to have discussions, because this is a lot right now. Oh, damn it. They out here in New York, y'all. Oh, hell no. Well, we have protesters in Times Square. I don't know if who they are that's protesting, but they are now in New York City. So that means I need to make some phone calls, because I have a lot of family in Manhattan and Mike. So yeah, I need to be calling him and make sure that he's okay, because he got to go to work in the next 2 hours. And I do not want nothing to happen to him, because I ain't going to be the Miss Juicy review. I'm going to be back to the old me. So yeah, y'all be safe. Protect your family. Protect your family. Stay on one accord. Y'all be safe. It's getting real. It's getting real. If y'all can stay home and stay in. If y'all can stay home and stay in. Oh goodness, hold on. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Okay, it's the protesters saying that Trump is guilty, but long and behold, that could flip and become an ugly scene. So yeah, all I want to say is, if y'all can stay home tonight, stay home. But if y'all can't, you gotta do what you gotta do. You gotta feed your family, support your family, but let someone know where you're going. And so just in case anything was to happen. Once again, I love every last one of y'all. Keep everyone lifted in prayer. Yeah, I don't know what else to say, but y'all be safe out there. Y'all be safe out there. I'm sending love and light and many blessings to everyone. Love ya guys. All right. Later, y'all.